The S&P 500 daily cloud chart shows zigzag, still on an upwards trajectory. The D wave, down wave A will print today on a tick higher than this high from the 18th. And sequential cluster is still on by countdown 10. I have added the relative retracement levels, and the first one, 4295.87, has been breached to the upside, and the second one, 0.618, is at 4414.64, and the magnet level 4537.41, which is the close of this bar back on July 27th. And while not accurate to the penny these days, as Lines is still giving erroneous readings for current price, it should be at 4326.64. So an open above that level and a close above that level will qualify it for end of day today. And the same goes for this ongoing supply line, which for today is at 4382.29. So price would have to open above it and then subsequently close above it for it to become qualified. And the second way would be to tick lower than 4188.31. So somewhere below this low, and then turn around and tick higher and close above both of these lines here, ongoing supply lines, and they will become qualified that way. It's too tight to have a tiny gap up above the high 4319.72 and then move up and close above it without retracing that tiny gap, but not impossible. So really technically three ways. And price in the pre-market hours is right below the 50 EMA in gold here, and right above the 35 simple moving average in dashed red here. And get above that 50 EMA here in gold. The next stop is the 50 simple moving average at 43.48 to start the morning. And I mentioned in the previous video that price would need to start pushing up the envelope to get a chance to get up to the upper Bollinger Band here. And that's an understatement of what happened yesterday. So price closed well above the upper Stark Band and the Channel 3 high. And the cloud conversion line had a Marty McFly moment there, so it really ticked up. And the daily baseline is still going sideways. 4248.67 would be the first goal. And Channel 3 high is right there to the downside, so should be pretty good support there. And price can stay above the Channel 3 high for up to 5 days before it's so extremely overbought that it has to get back down below it. So if this keeps up, this will definitely have a curl around and pull the stick back to the upside and catch up with the upper Stark Band for the Channel 3 high. And there was a nice crossover of the fast QQE above the slow QQE, so that's a good sign there. And the Ichimoku baseline for today, 4389.73. It will be there for another days, so Monday will be there too. And the bottom of the cloud and current price for today is 4369.78. So that's pretty close there. A little bit under that baseline 26 bars back, but pretty close. So we could be hitting the baseline 26 bars back and making a foray up into the cloud, or getting stalled at the bottom of the cloud, 4369.78, and closer to that level of the baseline 26 bars back is the disqualified by TDST major resistance, 4393.57. Again, the baseline 4389.73. And the fast ATM trigger up is almost to the overbought line, 75. Fast trigger up 74.25. That should make it above it today just on sheer momentum. And the slow trigger up 29.88 did make it above the oversold line. And ATM trigger pressure up is at the floor of the basement, still negative 2.0. And the chart lines long-term oversold up at 4103.78 is still an indication that the pressure up will stay on the floor. And the Shanghai momentum indicator is still in the negative section, slightly negative 1.77. Should make it out of there today if there's any tick to the upside. And the DeMarker 1 is still below its oversold line here at 39.74, oversold at 40. Rock did tick up above its oversold line here, but even if this does give the buy signal, I would not be buying, as it will probably end up turning around for some downside. So we'll have to watch REI, which did not make it above the overbought line and is flattening out here. So it wants to seek neutral zero due to this tremendous uptrend. So I would not be surprised to have this turn around if we continue ticking to the upside and seek neutral zero in the middle here. Then we wait to see which way REI ticks, either up or down, just like back here. It sought and found neutral zero and ticked up. And at that time, take stock and see where DM1 and Rock is at. It looks like DMI plus is above the minus. DMI plus 26.57 and DMI minus 26.59. So just about to cross above that. And it looks very similar to the last time. There was a wide gap between the plus and minus, and the plus crossed above the minus, but then fell back down to the downside. So I would wait and see where neutral zero happens at the REI level here. Wait for that. And the jobs report is just about to drop at 7:30 a.m. Central Time, 8:30 Eastern. And it's 8:30 Eastern now. We see a little tick up on the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100. So it looks like price in the S&P 500 made it above the 50 EMA, so let's look out for that 50 simple moving average at 43.48. It's at 43.30 now in the pre-market hours.